Alright, man, let's get started.
Okay. It's all over the place as far as competition is Minneapolis, San Diego, San Francisco, Atlanta, Georgia. So it's not just in Texas that's bringing the energy to the table.
It's just what other showgoers tell me, that Texas shows are just phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said the best is Minneapolis, Minnesota. The way they treat the crowd, the way they let the pit go, and it's endless energy.
Alright, I'm gonna make sure I got this straight now. Alright, I see your country records are starting to sell more and more successfully these days. You know, ever since Straight to Hell, man, I think you've just gone up so many notches. So, like, what's the deal? You know, you got plenty of rock bands that create radio-friendly, clean versions and have no problems getting their records out. I mean, what's so bad about country music not being able to, you know, what's the problem with explicit lyrics, and why the fuck are you not getting any radio airplay? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me.
As far as explicit lyrics go, it's probably a political thing. It's a Bible Belt thing. And being clean and part of the right group.
I'm sure they played David Allan Coe on the radio plenty of times.
Yeah, but David Allan Coe has never gotten awards. David Allan Coe has never been that embraced by the country music scene. That you're talking about a man that's probably had over 10 #1 songs and was completely ripped off on all his massive hits.
Unfortunately.
And so he's been burned by the business pretty hard. As far as me not getting radio play, it's because I'm not singing that other guy's song. I'm not working with that producer on Music Row, and I'm not playing that game. That's why. A prime example you can do your research on is when Hootie and the Blowfish decided to make a country record, made one, turned it in. Oh, it's a good record, but if you want a #1 song, you need to do this. And there you go. So that's a lot of the problem. You know, radio nowadays is you're being paid to play what you hear. It's not the new DJ that's coming in and like, wow, this is a cool band, I'm going to put it on the radio. It's formulas, it's lawyers, it's all that stuff. So the real radio is internet radio, college radio, and the rest of it's you know, it's a who's got the most money and power game.
Right on. Now, how do you feel about people like downloading your music these days? Do you think that it possibly spreads the word about Hank 3 and Ass Jack and possibly contributes to maybe higher attendance at your shows?
Well, I've never been against it because I'm someone that's been held back by the label and not able to create the way I'm supposed to create. So I've always been bootlegger friendly, downloader friendly, and approached it all like that. The way my belief system is, the more you give it away, the more it comes back to you in different ways. And it's not all about keeping control of every single dollar out there. It's money comes, money goes. You play music because you want to play music. You don't play music to have a #1 hit or get an award or anything like that. So for me, it's helped, especially in this day and age when record labels are starting to crumble because the middleman is getting cut out. It's made a huge impact for our shows.
Yeah, you know, with digital and stuff taking over, I mean, where do you, and just in general, see the music industry in the next 10 years? It feels like it's about to take on a completely new generation, and the question is what? We're all clueless, and I think at my age, I'm at the perfect time. Like, I'm trying to figure that out myself.
Yeah.
So I can know how to make the right decision, because I mean, I'm a aspiring musician myself. You know?
I mean, I guess there's not going to be any product to hold on to. Vinyl might halfway be around, but the recording process is probably only going to get easier and easier. The selling process, who knows, man. I do know it's not going to take $500,000 to make a great record, and you're going to have options to make things sound huge without a band, and that cuts a lot of the musicians out of the game. And then there'll be a certain few people out there that want to hear real drums, real guitars, and real singers. Most of everything you hear nowadays isn't real. It's all triggers, it's all samples, it's all pro-tooled effects.
I can understand a band, who maybe can't afford the best drum set, maybe like having a nice sounding snare when they're recording their album, but I think I look at performance as the bigger factor in this situation when it comes to gaining popularity and getting your shit out there. But my personal opinion is, like, when you're recording an album, make it sound as best as possible with whatever you got to do.
Yeah, well, that's true, but a great song doesn't have to sound that great to get out there. A good song always keeps its own legs. I mean, prime examples are Black Flag and Misfits. Some of the worst sounding recordings that are completely legendary and stand on their own 2 feet because they're great songs.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about you being a third generation star, man. You carry on your grandfather's legacy and your father's legacy. First off, this is my opinion, I might be completely wrong, but seems like in the rock industry, when someone's son tries to do something, they don't live up to their parents' legacy just as much. But Hank Williams Jr., he was just as big as his father, in my opinion. I mean, and you got Shooter Jennings, it's just about, everyone knows who he is. And what's your opinion on Sean Lennon? I haven't heard about him till not that long ago. He's not all out there, I would say. What's your opinion on the country music living up to their first generation's legacy, and as opposed to rock?
Well, Sean Lennon's always been more of an underdog, and one of the reasons he was always shunned out is because of Yoko Ono's money and power to put her son in the picture. He probably didn't play the game as well. Someone like Shooter Jennings, that's a mama's boy move. That's I want to be a rock star. Then his dad passes away. I guess I'll grow out a beard and put on some glasses and get into the country music world.
Right.
That wasn't him paying his dues. That's him selling out. And you can see he played the game, and he got the exposure and success and putting the videos on CMT and all that. He had marketing behind him, and that goes to show that if you want to play their game, you can get out there a lot quicker. Now, someone like Dale Earnhardt Jr., completely different. Now, he's always been into racing. He had a massive legacy to live up to, and he's paid his dues on the track and off the track, and has been sticking with it. Or a lot of guys in the country music world that are sons of others don't have to pay the dues as hard, but I've always taken the harder way than the easier way. As they would say about Jimmy Martin, I have shot down fame more than embraced it.
Oh, of course, it's really good. And you obviously, and everyone knows, you could have gone a completely different direction, but the difference here is, we all know, when you first got on the scene, you said you shared a small place with 3 other people, and money was not easy.
Yeah.
So, what was it that really made you be like, okay, fuck all these guys, I'm going to do it my way. I might not have all the money now, I don't care if I get
it's love.
It's easy for a billionaire, that's what someone that's already a billionaire, to do their own thing, but
It was just the love of the rock music and trying to carve my own niche. Being a drummer helped a lot of it. I had to get into the country music world a lot earlier than I wanted to take care of my son. You know, I was a 19-year-old drummer making $100 a week and a screamer in a band, and then I was approached on stage by 4 police officers and told, served papers to me when I was opening up for Buzz Oven, and it's told I owe $50,000 back pay. Well, to not be a deadbeat dad and to take care of my son and all those things, I got into the business a little quicker, and I got into country to be able to rock.
Yeah, but we all know that Rising Outlaw is nothing like Straight to Hell or Damn Right.
Well, it
leans a little bit closer towards the commercial, but still it's
being
pretty
green.
original. Yeah.
It's going from playing on the street all of a sudden to working with producers and not knowing how it is out there.
But that's what you gotta do. Look how everything turned out. And God, couldn't have been better. Now, what do you feel about, you mentioned your son, what kids of yours will someday possibly continuing the legacy?
Yeah, I don't think my son is going to be doing that. He might, but
is he in music any shape or form?
He has fun with it, but I don't think it's something that he seriously wants to do. And it's hard to say, man, what he's going to be going into. I know he's into college and he's pretty smart with grades and stuff like that, so he's probably going to take a different path and just keep it more for fun for him.
That's cool. How much unreleased original country material is in the vault? Like, how much stuff is already out there that we could see someday? Really?
Because of Curb, there's nothing. There's nothing until the new beginning starts.
So you really think once the new beginning, it'll just be constantly released? Because do you have enough lyrics?
In 10 months, everything will be a new beginning and nothing will be theirs. If I wrote a song right now, they'd own it. So nothing exists.
That single song contract.
Yeah.
Have you ever considered, a lot of people who are successful musically and in sports, a lot of times once they reach their fame and their peak, it's the film industry that interests them. Has that ever been an interest to you?
I've always done little things here and there in the film world. It's not my goal to be a big-time actor. I always say if it's a small role or something like that, sure, I'll come in and do it. I've already been in 5 to 8 side things, and it's just, you can look at Chris Christopherson. It's just a natural progression for him. I have people that call me up every now and then if they have me in mind for a role. But it's not, I've been around Sean Penn and real actors, and I see their memorization skills, and it's pretty fucking intense, man. And I'm always a little more introverted and not as outroverted, so if it's a short role, I show a little bit of interest, but that's not my thing.
Now, I'm hoping, is there any way you could tell us a little bit about The Rebel Within that some of us might not know yet? We know the song, we know the title track, you play it at your shows. I mean, can you tell us a little bit about that, man?
It's got a couple of the fast, upbeat, rowdy songs. It's got a full-on, slower country, as I call standard country songs, like Drinking Ain't Hard to Do. It's got one song called Carmageddon that's a little outside of the box for most people that's been following my music.
Still don't think it lives up to Straight to Hell?
No. I mean, it's going to take me a long time to beat that one. I could have given Curb a really awful record and said, see you later, but this one has a little bit of legs under it, and that's...
Now, before Straight to Hell was released, you were it was don't get me wrong, it was first title Thrown Out of the Bar. Was that any different from what was finally released? Was there any songs that were maybe on Thrown Out of the Bar that was not on Straight to Hell?
No, it was more of a, once I got the parental advisory clearance, then the Straight to Hell came into the mix.
And that was released on the Rock Imprint, right?
Yeah. That goes back to the political thing and the Bible Belt and how they don't trust standing behind something. They have to, even my new record won't be behind Curve Records. It'll be one of their off brands.
Right. How do you feel about so many artists going independent nowadays?
I mean, more power to them. Finally, what happened back in the day is the lawyers outsmarted the musicians and took over the business, and nowadays the musicians are finally getting able to have a little more control of what they do and things like that. So
yeah, man, like I'm a music business student right now. Like, dude, I seriously do not want to see myself in 10 years just working in an office watching everybody else. I'm doing this to get my own knowledge, and to apply it to my possible potential career. Like, I want to be a career musician, but no one can rely on that. It's not easy to make a living doing that these days for anybody.
The music business, if you're on the stage or off the stage, is a tough game. I mean, it's tough, man. I mean, some of the best bands have to work 9 to 5 out there and keep it as a hobby, and some don't.
So what are some of your favorite venues to play? I know you mentioned Minneapolis gets a good crowd. Is there anything personally that you feel like where you're most comfortable at, or I don't know, that just gives you that edge to play?
Well, First Ave has always been one of the #1 places because the way the security staff treats the audience, the way it's laid out. It's a rock club, and it gives people the option to stand there and watch the show or go sit down.
And they're pretty good about letting people have a good time.
Oh, always. They're the best security team I've ever seen across the whole United States. If every bar could be run like First Avenue, it would be a huge improvement in the security world. Outside of that, you got San Diego, San Francisco, the Catalyst. You got Austin, Texas, and Fort Worth, Texas, and even the Masquerade in Atlanta. It's all over the place. It's always a roller coaster, up and down. You never can predict how the energy is going to be. And a lot of it has to do with how drunk the fans are and how riled up they're feeling. And some nights it's off the hook, and then some nights it's just completely blah and no one's really into it. So
one of the songs that got me hooked on you, and I think I could say the same for a lot of people, was Crazed Country Rebel. Can you give me a little bit of background on that song, man?
It's just written on April 1st. It was I was on the road with Super Joint and sitting in a bar killing time. I always take my machines with me and write songs with write riffs, not necessarily writing songs, but I plug in my guitar and just practice. And that one just kind of came out of the blue, and it's more of a feel good, having fun kind of song.
Timeless song, man.
All right.
All right, man. I think we're just about getting through here, but last question, man. If people like Hank Williams III, man, I mean, these days, what are some good outlaw country music artists that people might not be too much aware of yet? I know there's that Tub guy I hear about.
Yeah, I don't necessarily consider that outlaw. He's more of a purist.
Outlaw rebel country, not like fucking Toby Keith or whatever, but like...
yeah. Outlaw is more people that march to their own drum and go out there and pay their dues for a long time, and it doesn't happen overnight.
Well, I consider you in the same pool as Cash, Jennings, Haggard, and David Allan Coe. That's what I'm saying. Like, these days, is there any bands out there presently that you could recommend?
I'd have to... I mean, man, I'm still stuck in the past. I would say, as far as really doing it on that kind of independent outlaw tip, the 3-5-7 string band, the goddamn Gallows. There's some hardcore kids like that. Hell Stomper is like outlaw country / raw rock. And the rest of them I consider more purists. They're not necessarily like outlaws because their sound is more pure. With me, I'm like a mix. Wayne the Train Hancock, he's a purist. Dale Watson, he's a purist. Lucky Tub has a suit, has a fiddle player, and everybody's kind of straight. You know, it's not like an impure thing, so it's a little more straight ahead with that kind of country music.
Awesome, man. Alright, man, that's it for the questions, man.
Alright.
It's awesome, man. Man, I'll never forget when I first heard Moanin' the Blues off the Three Hanks album, man.
Yeah.
Do you think you could ever do a collaboration album with any other country artist, possibly even something else with Bocephus one day?
I don't know about that. I'll definitely be doing collaboration projects with